Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the CI Acceleration. My name is Doug Mainers. I am here with Craig Carlton. Craig, are you there?
I am, Doug. Can you hear me okay? Am I clear?
You are very clear.
I love that. Yeah, welcome everybody tonight. Hang on, I got an echo in the background here. Just one second. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, so I'm excited to be here. I know Doug's excited to be here. We're all super happy to be here. I know that whoever's on the call tonight. I know you're happy to be here because you're excited about what we're about to deliver. Yeah, so thank you all for joining us. You know, we say this a lot, but it's the truth. We know that you could be anywhere tonight. The fact that you're here with us, we really appreciate that. So tonight we're going to get some clarity. We're going to start creating some additional confidence and hopefully leading to some cash flow for you all. So Doug, let's welcome everybody here tonight. Where are you all from? Let us know. What do we got?
I've already got some in there. I see Rhode Island, North Carolina, Dallas, Atlanta. I wish we could name every single person. Unfortunately, we can't do that. But again, welcome. We're glad that you're here. Glad you're taking time out of your busy schedule to come in and spend time with Craig and I. You know, Craig and I, we've said this before, we're passionate about real estate.
That's right.
And, we love what we do. And for those of you who are on the call tonight, I know you're passionate about real estate. So we're glad that you're here, excited that you're part of Connected Investors. Welcome aboard. And Craig, great topic for tonight.
Yeah, good stuff tonight. You guys are going to be excited. Take out your pens and papers and your notepads because we're going to lay down some really good juicy stuff for you. What is our topic tonight, Doug?
Here we go. So we're going to be talking about making the offer. We get the question a lot, how do I determine the offer amount? What do I do? Well, the good news is for those of you on the call, which should be pretty much everybody that has our PIN software, the good news is you have everything you need to make those offers.
That's right.
Because we have tools, we've got contracts, we got everything you need. We'll show you that tonight, how to put together that offer because, Craig, it's critical to make, you should have and be able to calculate a maximum allowable offer on a property because you don't want to pay too much because then there's no profit left in it, right? Or if you're going to wholesale or microflip it, you can't get anybody to buy it because you've got under contract for too much money.
Right.
And so definitely want to make sure that you get that offer right. Certainly if you're a fix and flipper or a buy and hold investor on the call tonight, you definitely don't want to put yourself in a position to overpay for a property because then there's no profit left at the end. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Speaking of those strategies, Craig, that's the second part of what we're doing, the exit strategies for investment properties. How do we exit? Or how do we monetize might be a better way because you don't always exit.
How do we just make money, Doug? Let's make money.
Let's make some money. We need some profit. But that's what it's all about. And as the buy and hold investors, they're not necessarily going to exit the property, but they are at this point. But they are going to put themselves in a position where they're going to exit and put a tenant in there. And so this is the strategies. We're going to break that down. Just the three that we could talk for days about different things you could do with real estate investing. But we're going to hit the three main topics. And so that's what we're all about with our agenda tonight. So again, welcome aboard. We're glad that you're here. If you're new to Connected Investors or new to our PIN software, man, you've made a wise choice. We're glad that you're here. If you happen to be on the call tonight, somehow you stumbled onto this and you haven't purchased PIN yet, by the time we're done tonight, you're going to wish you had it and you're going to want to get it. So, Craig, there's going to be an opportunity. Oh, yeah, Craig, thanks for popping that in there. Yeah, if you do not have PIN, we want to make sure you have an opportunity to drop in a message to us. You can text PIN, the word PIN, real simple, to the number you see on the screen. And that will allow us to reach out to you and contact you and show you how to get access to the software. Because I'm telling you, once you see everything PIN does, it will blow your mind. You're going to be so excited because you literally have one login that you could run your whole real estate investing business. So very, very cool.
Yep, for sure. And so, again, if you're interested, text to PIN. I like this little teaser here. It's almost like what we do with PIN, Doug, is we're like those folks that are standing at Sam's or Costco's and we're giving samples in some ways. We're showing you the power of what PIN can do. And if you don't have it, if you don't actually have the ability to, you're going to get a little taste of it tonight. Hopefully you'll want the rest of it. So that's why we're making that available to you tonight. So if you need it, don't hesitate. Shoot a text to that number with the word PIN, and someone will get back to you and fill in all the holes for you, make you feel real comfortable. So thank you for letting me share that, Doug.
Oh, no. We just want to make sure everybody gets access, because those of you who have PIN, you know what a great tool it is. So it is fantastic. Okay, let's jump right in and talk a little bit about, making the offers when you're working with this motivated seller and they have said yes. Remember, PIN has tons of motivated seller leads, 42,000 zip codes worth all over the country, right in your backyard even, in your own city, town, zip code. These motivated seller leads are going to be your way of finding sellers that are ready to make that move, ready to put that property under contract. Now, if you're a microflipper or a wholesaler, obviously you're putting it under contract with that seller, and then you're assigning the contract over to an end buyer, most likely an investor, and collecting an assignment fee. 5, 10, 15, 20,000, whatever it is, right? You decide. But on the average, around $10,000 is the profit a wholesaler or a microflipper makes, right? And we're going to talk about this in a little more detail in just a minute. It's so critical to make sure you make the right offer, that you have a maximum allowable offer. You have to get it right. And so what you see here is we actually have first of all, the scripts. We tell you what to say to work with these motivated sellers. Once they say, yes, I'm open to selling, or I want to sell, now we tell you what to do and how to progress from there, and literally how to move forward to getting that offer, right? And that's inside of PIN. It's right there. We have modules that walk you through that. We have training on that that you could go watch as well, recorded webinars. And then, but in addition to that, we have the fast formula tool. And this is going to allow you to go in. We have calculators, you can see there on the screen, that allow you to go in and know exactly what the maximum allowable offer for a property is, along with other things. There's other calculators in there for like cap rate for those who are going to buy and hold, and just all kinds of stuff that you have access to inside of PIN. So again, this is what we're talking about here with the making the offers. It's going to make it super easy for you. And then secondly, Craig, is the contracts. We have what's called the Contract Genie. It provides step-by-step instructions that walks you through completing the offer to purchase contract. So there's no question, like what to put, because it tells you what to do step by step. We have the contracts for all 50 states right inside of PIN. We have you actually select a state that you're purchasing the property in, right? And it will format that contract to match the requirements for a real estate contract in that state. It does it for you. And then it walks you through how to fill the blanks out. So again, PIN's going to do the work. The Contract Genie is going to do the work from that side of it. The work for you is your due diligence. The work for you is knowing what to offer. That's what we want to focus in on tonight. So Craig, I'm going to take just a second, and I want to go over live and show everyone right inside of PIN where to find these important tools.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's important. So let me go ahead and jump in and show you. If you notice right now, I'm in the Resource Center. If you look at PIN, when you log in, you see across the top, and Craig, you know this, PIN was designed by real estate investors for real estate investors.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's really, we wanted to be able to make it very user-friendly. We want to be able to allow you to log in and be able to access everything at your fingertips.
That's
right to the palm of your hand on your cell phone or right to your laptop. And so that's kind of the beauty of what we do here. And the Resource Center is one of the key components of that. And if you notice in the Resource Center, Craig, I'm just going to scroll down to the tools here, but I don't want to scroll too fast, because I think it's important to hit on some of these things, like the Fast Start. We actually have a Fast Start, a whole website devoted to getting you started fast as a real estate investor, but also getting you started fast in PIN. You may already be a real estate investor. You may already know how to invest in real estate, but this Fast Start training is going to walk you through kind of making sure you've got a game plan and how to use PIN to get there. Because PIN provides, like I said, all the competitive advantages. You want to make sure you take care of all of them. Then below that, you see the various live training, recorded trainings, the boot camps. It's all right here that you can go in and register or go in and watch anytime you choose. And then you've got your user guide. These are little 2-minute, 8-minute videos that walk you through how to use certain aspects of PIN, like using filters and your advanced searches. And it's so simple. That's why, Craig, we can make a 2-minute video and show somebody exactly how to do it, because it's just that easy.
Yep. Yeah, no, I love this area because we did this very intentionally, like Doug said. We could have put it in just one video and you have to scroll through and figure it out. But really, we got so many questions of, well, hey, how do I do an export and that alert? How do I set that? Here's the best part, guys. If you don't know how to do it, I'll teach you how to do it. Watch the videos. That's how I learned how to do it, right? I learned how to do it. Doug learned how to do it by doing it. So use these videos as a guide, and then he's going to scroll down to the rest of it where all those calculators are. I mean, this page has got everything that you could possibly want when it comes to real estate: scripts, uh, contracts, all of the tools, all of the resources, accessing live sessions and webinars. It's all on this resources page, and you'll see that it's really clean. We have it done up really nicely for you because we want you to be able to access everything really simple. So you go to that graduation cap, and in this case, you're just going to scroll all the way down till you see the Contract Genie right there. This program is awesome. Doug alluded to it. It's got 50 states plus a few of the territories. I think it's got like DC and Guam and maybe the Virgin Islands or whatever. But these contracts here are what you need to make an offer. And I'll let Doug. I'll let you take the rest of it. I just get excited when I talk about it.
Oh, it's awesome, Craig. You're right on point. And that's the power of having PIN is one login. It manages your whole real estate investing business here for you. And so the Contract Genie, as you see here, once you click into that, and we walk you through that in detail on another training, but it literally, like I said, is step by step. And then you see that's the tool right there. And then you see the fast formula tool where you have various calculators that you can go in and be able to access things like the maximum allowable offer. And we're going to walk you through an example of that next. So just wanted to show you where to find all these calculators. So when you click in this app here, this tool, it's going to open up all the various calculators and show you exactly how to do that. So let's do this. Let's go back to our PowerPoint, Craig, and let's go ahead and jump right into our topic. But before we do that, like I said, we want to make sure, as you're probably seeing, PIN is phenomenal. And for those that have it, you know that. But for those who maybe gotten on the call, we don't always know that everybody on the call is a PIN member. So if you're not a member of Connected Investors with PIN access, you need to go ahead and text the word PIN to that number on the screen, 910-294-3501. You see it there on the screen. And what we'll do is we'll just reach out to you, myself or Craig, somebody. We'll give you a call. Hey, I've noticed you don't have PIN. Let's show you what we can do to get you started with PIN because you're going to want it. Once you see everything that it has to offer, you've got to have it. I don't know, Craig. I just don't know how people survive without the PIN software right now because deals are so hard to come by. And having access to motivated seller leads in 42,000 zip codes, it makes finding deals a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's only 10 zip codes in your own city, you're talking about thousands of leads.
That's right.
Things like vacant homes, pre-foreclosure, probate, for sale by owner, expired listing, lien, all these different lead types that you can even stack layers of motivation. For instance, vacant without estate owners. That's a pretty solid lead.
Yeah,
now,
it is.
Those are people, if they have a vacant home in another state and it's sitting there and they live in another state, boy, that's a tough thing. They want a solution for that. They don't always want to sell, but they may want to sell. And so PIN gives you these kinds of leads that allow you to go in and run your business. So anyway, just want to show that get this down, 910-294-3501. Go ahead and take a picture of this with your phone or screenshot it with your computer. So if you don't have PIN, and this is for people that don't, if you already have PIN, congratulations. I know you're excited about it. But this is for those who don't have PIN. We want to make sure that you can get that access. So Craig, let's jump into our topic. And we always like to just do this as a preface here. Consult a real estate attorney if needed. If you ever have a question about contracts or anything like that, don't hesitate. Don't feel like you can't talk to a real estate attorney. It's okay. But what you're going to find, and we're going to teach you, we're not attorneys. We don't even play one on TV, right, Craig?
We do not. No attorney play on TV. No.
But that's what you get what I'm saying here. But, we're having a little fun with that. But, we're not giving you legal advice. But what we are doing is we're sharing with you what investors do and how they formulate their offer and how they put that together. That's what we're all about tonight. And so just keep that in mind. We always like to say, if you just, after you heard us talk or after you've been through the Contract Genie, if you still have questions, it's fine. Feel free to consult a real estate attorney. But here's the beauty of having the Contract Genie. Let's say you're in, let's say you're in New York and you want to do business in Florida and you don't have the Contract Genie. How are you going to write an offer in Florida and know that contract's legal? Well, you'd have to hire an attorney in Florida, a real estate attorney. And guess what? They've got to draft that contract for you. You think that's going to be free?
It will not be free.
Craig knew where I was going, didn't you?
No, it ain't going to be free. It's not. It's going to cost you some money. It's not going to be free.
It's going to get into the hundreds of dollars. It could even be more than that. Now you need your addendum. Now you need certain amendments. Now you see what I'm saying? It starts to pile, and you can even be in $1,000 or more. Just that's one state. What if you want to do business in Georgia too? You get the idea. So my point is, the Contract Genie saves you all that money. The contract's already designed, and it walks you through it. So it keeps you from having to spend all that money. So just keep that in mind. So Craig, let's go ahead and break down what we're talking about here with determining the amount to offer on the offer to purchase. This is really, nailing down the offer, because what I see happen sometimes is I see, especially new real estate investors do this. Number one, they either don't know how much to offer at all. They have no clue what to offer, or that sometimes they offer too much, and then they wonder why they can't wholesale or microflip the deal, or they wonder why didn't I make a profit on that last fix and flip? I wait, where do you make your money? We've talked about this. Where do you make your money in real estate? When you buy or when you sell?
When you buy.
When you buy. Craig knows the answer. When you buy. That's exactly right. Now, you don't actually see the money right then, but you're creating the environment to make the money. When you buy at the right price, you're going to make money. I just, like Craig, I mentioned this, I just, I just purchased a property this past week. I bought it right. Now, does it need a lot of work? Yes. And just to give you an idea, and we'll talk about, maybe I'll save that for the fix and flip segment. So Craig, remind me on the fix and flip segment a little bit to share a story, because I want to tell you a little bit about, some things you got to consider there. But guess what? I know right now, based on what that house needs and, where we're at, I know I'm going to make money on this house. It would be almost impossible not to. Even if the market crashed, it would be unlikely, although I don't think the market's going to crash, at all. I don't think we're going to be in that situation. Could it soften up? Could it slow down a little? Maybe. But right now, things are still moving and grooving in most areas of the country. Just to give you an idea, Craig, that particular house I just bought, in the whole neighborhood, in the adjacent neighborhood, guess how many houses are for sale right now?
I don't know. None? All
Zero.
None.
None. Yep. There's no inventory in that neighborhood or the next neighborhood. So guess what? Am I pretty confident I'm going to sell that house in the next 90 days when it's finished?
You should be.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, you should be.
It's just how much am I going to get for it, right? And the beauty of having PIN is I knew what to offer on that house. I knew what the maximum allowable offer was. I actually got it a little bit less than that, which was nice. So just to give you an idea. So Craig, let's break down an example of what we call the investor's formula. Okay. This is what a lot of investors use when they're going to determine the offer amount. It's called the investor formula. Now, the beauty of this is, guess what? This involves some mathematics, Craig.
And that's good for you, because you were a math teacher.
I was a math teacher. I taught math for 17 years. Not a big deal for me. But right. I guarantee you there's some folks on this call who probably are going, oh my gosh, this involves some mathematics. Uh-oh. And they're probably a little bit worried.
That's me. I'm not a big math guy. I can talk my way into anything, but figure the numbers out, and I struggle. So I love our formula. This tool is so powerful. It doesn't cause me to have to think too hard about what that number is going to be. I really like it. So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, and that's the power of the Fast Formula tool, because what I'm showing you on the screen, all you have to do is plug the numbers into that tool, and it does it for you. So, and Craig, hopefully I'll have a chance to show that here in just a minute, but let's walk through and just talk about this investor's formula for everybody who's on the call tonight. So what the investor formula is you take the ARV, which stands for the after repair value, ARV, right? An acronym, after repair value. You say, well, Doug, where do I get the after repair value? Guess what? PIN provides you with an after repair value. Not only that, they also provide you with a comp report, a comparable report, where you can even do a deeper dive into values in that area to see what other properties are selling for and kind of get a feel for what this property that you're looking at, your subject property that you're making an offer on, and see what it would sell for compared to those similar square footage, similar area, that type of thing. So that's kind of the power of PM. We don't just give you an ARV. We say, hey, here's where we got the comparable properties to determine the ARV. We feel like our algorithm for ARV is very, very solid. In fact, better than some of the others that are out there, as estimates and some of these others. We feel like it's better. But that being said, do your own due diligence. Nothing wrong with that. And so you take whatever that after repair value, that's the value of the property would be once the repairs are completed. You take that value and you multiply it times 70%. Okay. So now you've got 70% of that value. Now you take that number and you subtract the rehab and holding costs. Now, many of you might be going, well, Doug, I'm a microflipper or I'm a wholesaler. I'm new to real estate. I have no clue what it's going to cost to rehab that house. Well, a good rule of thumb that you can use is take $20 and multiply it times the square footage of the house. That's a good rule of thumb. So give you an easy example, Craig. If you take $20, let's say the house is 1,000 square foot house, small house.
All right.
You take $20, you multiply it times 1,000. That's $20,000, right? So that would be your rehab estimated budget. Now, if that house is located maybe a little bit higher in neighborhood where the finishes are expected to be nicer, you may want to use $30 or even $40 per square foot. So that would be $30 times 1,000 or $30,000 for the rehab, or $40,000, or times 1,000, that's $40,000 for the rehab. So it all kind of depends on the neighborhood. It depends on the condition of the house. For instance, the house I'm getting ready to rehab, I'm not going to do it. My crew is, but my crew's getting ready to rehab. It's already started. Is now, I had to determine a higher rehab amount. I had to, even though it's a smaller house, it's about 1,300 square feet, but I had to go with a $40 a square foot number because this house is going to be about $50,000 probably in rehab. So that being said, if the house needs a lot of repairs, you probably don't want to use $20. You probably want to use $30 or $40. It's a good estimate. Now, me, Craig, because I'm very experienced at this, I can determine within a few $1,000s each way what it's going to cost to rehab this house. So I don't have to use that 20. But guess what? It came out pretty close. If you take 40,000 times 1,300 square feet, that's about $52,000. Well, guess what? Right. It's going to be about $50,000. That's why I determine actual real numbers, my estimate. And so that estimating value actually worked pretty well. So anyway, just something I want to throw out there, and we'll show you in a little more detail how that works. So you subtract out, you take the ARV times 70%. Now you're minusing the 20, 30, 40, whatever it is. And that's going to give you the purchase price that a real estate investor like a fix and flipper or maybe a buy and hold investor will want to pay for the house. So once you get that number, you're a wholesaler, for instance. If you're a wholesaler, now you got to take out your profit. You might want to make $10,000. So now you take that amount, you subtract your desired profit of $10,000, and that's what you're going to offer that seller. Okay. So now that I've thoroughly confused everyone, it's clear as mud, right, Craig?
Yeah, it's good though, Doug. It is a little muddy, but I know you're going to go deeper, so let's do it.
Exactly. So let me give a real life example. I'm going to break it down. So much simpler when you got numbers. Look at this, guys. In this example, we got a $200,000 house. That's the ARV. That's the after repair value. That's how much it's worth. In fact, this is very close, Craig, to the house that I just bought. It's probably more like 190, but it's close. 185, 190. But here's the example. 200,000 times 70% is 140,000. So you take 70%, right, times the ARV. Now you minus the repairs. In this case, $30,000 in repairs or maybe holding costs. If you don't know the holding costs, you don't have to include them. Or you just can estimate 5,000 or 3,000 or whatever. And you subtract out the 30,000. So an investor, a fix and flip investor, is going to want to pay about 110,000 for this house. That's going to be their number. That's how you determine the offer amount, right? Now, you've got to make a profit as a wholesaler. So you say, hey, I want to make 10,000. So you take the 110 they'll pay, subtract out your 10. And so you need to get the house for 100,000 so you can assign it for 110,000.
Exactly.
Is that a little clear, Craig?
That's perfectly clear. Yep.
Yeah. So that's the beauty of it. Now, to give you a real life example, the house I just bought, it's worth a little bit less. It may go for 200 if the market keeps going up, but I think it's going to sell for about 185. Well, I paid 85 for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got about $100,000 there to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my holding costs are a little bit more. I'm way more than $30,000 on my rehab. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So my numbers are going to be a little off from this, but at the same time, you kind of get the idea. So, hopefully I'll make a nice profit. But again, this house needs a lot of work. And so that's going to be the difference between, in terms of profit margin, we can get into on another training. But you understand here, that's how you determine the offer amount. Very, very easy to do. Now, do you have to get it perfect as a wholesaler? No.
Mm-mm.
If you put it under contract for too much money,
you'll find out.
What? Yeah, you'll find out. That's right, Craig. Because the buyers are going to let you know real quick, I'm not paying that for it.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
I'm glad you said that, Doug. A lot of times what will happen is when you're a new investor, and I've experienced this so many times working with, new investors, that they're like, well, is my offer good? And while I want to say, oh, it's great, it's perfect, the truth is I don't know what's in that buyer's mind. So I will say, well, make the offer, see what happens. If it's accepted, well, you did good. If it's not accepted, don't just say, oh, it's not accepted. Go back and say, hey, what am I missing? What is it? Where does it need to be? So use this offer and looking to get a buyer as a way to make sure that you're doing it right. I hope I made that clear. That sounded a little bit muddy coming out of my mouth, but I just want folks to understand
that makes sense.
You can learn by making offers. If you're not making offers, you're not learning. You got to make offers. And this is a great way to know if your offers are good by just making them. Run the numbers and see what happens. That's what I say.
Yeah, because you can put a contingency. Remember, in the contract, Genie is going to prompt you to do this. You can put a contingency in that contract that if you cannot wholesale it or microflip it, or if you're a fix and flip investor and you all of a sudden you realize, wow, there's no profit left in this, you can terminate the contract up to a certain date. An inspection period, due diligence period. It gives you that contingency that allows you to terminate that contract if you're not able to wholesale it, for instance. So that's the reason why it doesn't hurt anything to put it under contract. Mm-mm. And I think, Craig, I had a wholesale deal last month that I tried to make a $10,000 assignment fee, right? Well, unfortunately, that it was kind of a borderline deal. The house needed a lot of work. I had it under contract at a good price, but not a great price. It was in an area that I don't do fix and flips. I couldn't get my crew to that particular area, that town. But guess what? I decided instead of just passing on the deal, why not make some money?
That's right.
So I put it under contract, offered a purchase contract with the seller, right? And I knew it was kind of a borderline deal, but I tried to get $10,000. Well, as Craig mentioned earlier, guess what? My buyers let me know real quick. They're not willing to pay that for it. Mm-hmm. So what did I do? I reduced my assignment fee because I didn't have tons of buyers for it because of the scope of a rehab, big rehab on that one. And so I reduced my assignment fee from $10,000 to $5,000, and I got the deal to work. So that's okay. It's okay to do that. I'll take $5,000. Craig, we'll take it.
I'll take it
every day and twice on Sunday.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So
I mean, if you did just one of those a month, Doug, is $60,000 a year.
Exactly.
And think about what that means. Like it could be a side hustle doing one deal a year and making an extra $60,000. Go into your boss's office. Exactly. Go into your boss's office and ask him for a $5,000 raise. Well, he may give you that raise, but then go in again next month and say, hey, I want another $5,000 raise. What's the likelihood he's going to give you another raise? Good luck with that. Yeah, good luck with that. Exactly. So we're showing you a way where you can, do one deal a month and you're making $60,000 a year, basically on average.
Well, Craig, that's a great point. Yeah. That's how I started out part-time. I was a teacher, as Craig mentioned. I taught school for 17 years, but I started looking for something to do in the summer, part-time. And, real estate I saw that as a vehicle to make the most money for my time. Right. I've done a little part-time things as a teacher and doing stuff outside of teacher. Craig, I've done a little bit of everything. And teachers, unfortunately, they don't get paid nearly enough.
That's right.
Right. And so I was looking for everything, man. I've tried a lot of different things out there, a lot of part-time things. But then when I came across real estate, I realized, wow, I'm going to put my time and energy into something, why not get in a vehicle that's going to take me and I can make large amounts of money versus a little part-time money? And guess what happened, Craig? I ended up making more money part-time in real estate than I was making full-time as a teacher. Yep. Right? That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And eventually, after a while, I decided I double dipped for a while, Craig. I did. Hey, why not? But after a while, I thought, I think it's time for me to move full-time into real estate because it just didn't make sense for me to continue. Now, don't get me wrong. I love teaching.
Well, yeah, look at you. That's what you're doing now, Doug. It's full circle. Yeah, exactly. You still get to teach. So now you get to teach something that you're really passionate about, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Teaching children is great. It's amazing. But when you're really passionate about something, your expertise and your confidence, and it's great. So I'm really glad that you're not teaching the kids, that you're now teaching us adults, Doug. So I appreciate that. I really do.
Guess what, Craig? They were able to replace me pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, they were.
So that worked out for them. But you get the idea that you can start making some even $5,000 a month is solid income. So that being said, speaking of income and making money, let's jump in to these exit strategies. And again, we could talk about so many different things. We could get into lease options and all stuff. Rent to own and subject to, and I mean, there's just so many things you could do here that we could talk about that unfortunately we just don't have the time to get into all that and break it all down and with the call. But that being said, we do want to hit on the three main types, the three things you look at. And of course, the first one there you see is wholesaling or microflipping. We're going to talk about that. We've hit on that pretty hard in other trainings, but you definitely will see. If you haven't seen that, you will. We'll be talking about it again. So you'll see that live. But then you got your fix and flips where you fix it up and sell it at retail. And of course, you got your buy and hold where you're not necessarily exiting it because you're holding it. It's a portfolio, part of your portfolio, but you're putting a tenant in there, either short-term or long-term, right? And so we're going to break all this down for you just real quick and we'll kind of walk you through this. So let's talk about wholesaling. Now, we call it microflipping. And the reason we call it that is because micro means the amount of time it takes. Connected Investors kind of coined this phrase or this noun, for lack of a better word. Really, it's almost more of a verb. Depends on how you use it. But you get the idea. Micro flipping is a way to wholesale very, very quickly. And micro stands for the amount of time it takes. Very fast. Micro the amount of time, right?
Exactly.
And so wholesale is the old kind of antiquated way of doing it, where you used to have to drive around for hours, or you used to have to go dig in the basements at the courthouses, or you used to, all these different things. Well, you don't want to do that anymore. Gas is $5 a gallon. Who wants to drive around and look for vacant homes? With microflipping and having access to PIN, the data, and the motivated seller data, you could pull up 100 vacant homes in a matter of seconds and go through those, right? And qualify to see who's looking to sell, who isn't, in very short order.
And then go visit them. Then waste your $5 gallon gas.
Take your gas and go visit. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Be smart. This is about working smarter, not harder. Right? That's what this is all about with PIN. You're exactly right. And so, this type of exits here, when it comes to wholesaling or microflipping, is number one, you can assign. Basically, you're putting property under contract with that motivated seller, and then you're assigning it, right? You're assigning it to an end user, investor, most likely. Sometimes you might sell it to someone who's going to live there. It's unlikely, but it could happen. That has value. When you put a property under contract, that contract has value, and that, because there's hopefully a profit margin in there if you got under contract for the right price, like we just talked about. So you can assign that contract over to the end user using what's called an assignment contract, which includes an assignment fee inside of that. Now, the assignment contract's also located in the PIN Contract Genie in the business section. Now, that's one contract for the whole nation. It's not because that's different from an offer to purchase. It's just having the language in there that allow you to assign your rights to this contract over to another person and collect an assignment fee consideration money for doing that. And so assignment, you can charge whatever you want, $5,000, $10,000, it doesn't matter. As much as you want to charge for your assignment fee. My general rule of thumb is if there's a large profit margin, a large amount of equity, which is the difference between how much the seller owes, right? The lien on the property, and how much the property is worth after repairs, the ARV. The bigger that spread, the more potential assignment fee there is, generally speaking. Mm-hmm. The smaller that spread, normally the smaller the assignment fee. So you might only make I've had assignments only made $1,500. That's okay. I made some money. Mm-hmm. Right? It's kind of cool to create money kind of out of thin air. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly. That's exactly what you're doing. And I may have mentioned this on another one, but I love the idea of the assignment fee, because here's the deal with the assignment fee. It is literally a number that you're making up that works. Doug's talking more equity, a larger fee, right? Smaller equity, maybe not quite as big a fee. Don't be too greedy. But the idea is the number that you're going to come up with. While it needs to be reasonable, it doesn't have to be logical. You could have it could be $2,900. You could have it be $5,100.14. You could have it be any kind of number that you want, because here's the beauty of it. Before you engage in this process, it doesn't exist. And when you get this deal under contract, you're creating it out of thin air. It was something that didn't exist, and now you have it. Now you've created it out of thin air. That's where this comes from. I love the assignment fee. It can be whatever you want. So I encourage you to get out there and have fun with it. Do lots of crooked numbers and points and all that stuff. Have fun with it. Because it can be really scary, and we don't want you to be nervous about it. Go have fun with it.
I love it. One more thing. I love that.
And one more thing. Whatever you decide, remember, you're worth it. You're the one that's doing the work and the effort and putting the deal together. So you deserve to be paid for it, because you're doing the work. You're helping the seller. You're helping that lazy investor look for those properties, and you should be compensated for it. So don't be shy about saying, I want to get paid, because you're not doing real estate for fun and for free. I mean, hopefully you're having fun, but you're not doing it for free. You're doing it to make money. And so I just want to encourage you to not be ashamed or embarrassed or even nervous about that assignment fee. Gladly put it down. You deserve it.
I like that. And your offer to purchase has value to it.
Gosh.
And that's what these and fix and flippers and buy and hold investors are willing to pay, especially in this market. They're willing to pay. And guess what, Craig? I've done hundreds of these. Mm-hmm. Back when before PIN, I did 35 wholesale deals in a year, and that's before we had data, PIN, buy. That was back when, man, you had to be pumping it to get 35 deals in a year done. By myself, I didn't have a team, and now we can teach you. We have, with all the software and all the tools, the training, the leads, you can build a team. I mean, it's not only you could do 5-10 a month if you want to, mm-hmm. right? I mean, you can do as many as you want to do. Having access to 42,000 zip codes in the U.S., I mean, you could do a lot. But all that being said is, this is what I'm talking about. The exciting part about this, because relatively risk-free, if you write your contracts right, and you're able to go ahead and create, a strong income, $5,000-$10,000 a month, like Craig was saying, that's strong by itself. And then you think about that. Now, the second part of this is what we call a double close. For those of you who live in Illinois, Oklahoma, where they've passed some laws around assignments. Like, for instance, in Oklahoma, you have to be a realtor or you have to be a real estate agent to do assignments, which makes no sense to me. But again, I don't live there and I don't make the laws. But that being said, you can still do wholesale and microflip deals, but by doing double closes, which simply means you buy the property and then you turn around and sell it the same day, next day to another investor. And we actually have lenders, because we have verified lenders, right, inside of Connected Investors, that will lend you what's called transactional funding to get that deal done. And so you can do that if you choose to, a double close, especially in those states. Now, this is a little more advanced concept, Craig. I didn't do these till I had a couple of years experience, but certainly this is something that could be done. Or because you can do PIN nationwide, if you live in Illinois or Oklahoma, just go wholesale in another state. Why not? Exactly. You're not even going to lose here. And so these are two types of exits with wholesale. This is where you're making, Craig, hey, look, by the way, I've had assignment fees in the 20s, right? Mm-hmm. I've had, well up in the 20s, that you can make. So, we talk about 5,000, 10,000. You can also make, I've had 15, 20, 25, almost 30, they're out there. And, and that's Again, I'm not a full-time, micro flipper right now. I'm mostly a fix and flipper. But guess what? I'm still doing wholesale deals, micro flip deals. Why? Because I want to make money on deals that I'm not going to fix and flip. Why not make money on those? And so that's important. Cool. All right, let's move forward. Here we go. Let's talk about fix and flipping, Craig.
Okay.
Now, notice the list got a lot longer, and this is just a sampling of the things you have to consider as a fix and flip investor. Fix and flipping as an exit strategy. It means you're buying the property, you're rehabbing it, remodeling it, fixing it up, whatever you want to call it, and then you're selling it typically retail. Most of the time, you're going to use a realtor. You can sell it as for sale by owner, but you're going to sell this retail, right? Personally, I like to use realtors because they're professionals. They have a code of ethics they go by. I don't mind having a realtor sell. I've got a relationship with some realtors, particular realtor that I use a lot of times to sell my properties. But that being said, there is some special considerations around fix and flipping. A little more risk involved here, Craig, because you're either buying it with your money or you're having to borrow money to do this, either from a private investor or from a hard money lender. I've used both. That's fine. But in general, you got to have some money down, 10, 15, 20%. And so you've got some of your money in this too, most likely, right? So that being said, there's more risk because you're investing more. As a micro flip or a wholesaler, you really don't have any money in that necessarily. You don't have to. But here you do. And so you want to make sure you get this right. Now, it just goes to another level, Craig, because now you got to consider things like the rehab scope of work. Guess what I sat down and did late last night, Craig?
Scope of work.
There you go. I sat down and completed my scope of work for a property I just acquired, and just kind of laid out exactly what I need and so forth and so on. And guess what else I did? The rehab budget, because you've got to set a budget and you got to stick to it. If you go over in a particular area, you got to give up something over here. It's just like your household budget, right? If you don't want to go into debt, you don't want to run out of, what is it they say? You run out of month before you run out of money. You run out of money before you run out of month. Whatever it is, right? It's the same thing with the rehab budget. You don't want to run out of money before you get done with the rehab. That could be a problem. I bought deals like that before from other investors that ran out of money. But that being said, you've got to know these things. You've got to master these things. You got to know what you're doing here, or you better have somebody to help you do this. You better have a coach or mentor. Really, I would highly recommend, if you want to be a fix and flipper, get a coach, get a mentor. That's how I learn.
Yeah.
You've got to have somebody that's done this before that can tell you all the gotchas. Now, Craig and I, we're going to teach as much as we can about gotchas, but we can't teach you everything because every deal's different. Every flip is different. And believe me, fix and flipping is more about problem solving just about anything else. Now, I relish that. I love it because I love trying to come up with a solution when I run into a problem. But that's true. Contractor, you better have a good contractor. And you better not pay them up front, right? Because you could lose a lot of money. You better set up, maybe have it in writing, when they get paid, how much they get paid, confirm the work's done. Either you go confirm the work's done. Like Craig, that's what I do. I spend my weekends a lot of time, my Saturday mornings. I go check my projects out, see where we're at, what we're doing, write checks, whatever the case may be. Or you hire somebody to go do that. There's services that will go inspect properties for you. Cost you about $150, but it's well worth the money. It's just part of your budget. If you can't go, hire somebody to go check the work out before you write the contractor a check. Please do that. All right. If you can't do it yourself, or at the minimum, have them take pictures or video and send it to you or something. Do something to check behind that contractor. I don't care how well you know him, right? Design. Guess what, Craig? You got to be a designer to be a fix and flipper. Because you got to decide, do we take that wall out? Do we expand this? Do we add that? Do we do that? I mean, there's a lot to decide. What colors? All these different things. Now, when you get really good at this, you do a lot of them, then you have a system. You already know the wall color you're going to use. You already know your flooring. You already know your appliances, your countertop. You almost have it down like a little system. That's what I've developed through the years. So I don't do as much designing as I used to, but I still have to do some because every house is laid out a little different.
That's right. Hey, Doug, I just realized we're in the fix and flip part. And I'm supposed to remind you to tell a story about fixing and flipping. So I just remembered.
Craig, thank you for reminding me. I talked about scope of work and budget and contractors and design, but guess what I haven't talked about? Timeline.
Yeah.
Do you know there's a certain time that you should do certain parts of that rehab? You do not want to start and have a beautiful, you go in, man, you replace the flooring, you paint, you got the interiors looking gorgeous. And guess what? A big thunderstorm comes up, rains, and your roof leaks down and ruins everything.
Oh, yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to know the timing and when to do what. I'll give you an example. Guess what happened on my house this week that I just bought?
I heard you have a new. Oh, what happened?
The house has a huge tree.
Oh.
And remember, I think I may have mentioned you, Craig. This house, when you go in the bathroom in this house, you look out and you see sky.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah. Well, not only do you see sky, you see a huge tree limb, because this house has a huge tree, in the side yard that extends out over the house. And so the first thing I did is I had my tree guy come out and cut that limb and trim up that tree so it's not dragging on the house or in danger of dropping a huge limb on the house that's draped over it, right? So that's the first thing I had to do. I had to come cut some trees and some tree limbs. Second thing I got to do is what? Got to get a roof on the house. That's right. Brand new roof. I got a hole in the roof right now. I don't want to start my interior rehab and I ain't got the roof. So obviously Talk
about a soggy bathroom floor.
Oh man, you're not kidding. We still got to tear that out, but that's after the roof goes on. But and that's the whole thing. But guess what, Craig? Before the roof goes on, guess what else I had to do? We had to put in new fascia board. The fascia was rotted in a lot of areas, so we got to do that. Once they tear the roof off, guess what else we got to do? We got to put down some new sheathing, some new plywood on top of the house, right? Fortunately, it costs the lumber to come down some now, so I'm glad about that. But you see what I'm saying? So not only do you have to understand the scope of work, you got to understand the timing on what goes first, second, third, fourth. And so just understand, I'm not trying to scare you away from fix and flipping. I love it. I enjoy it. I've done a bunch of them, still doing them. And, of course I have a crew and I have a project manager that helps me. So that's beautiful, but that's cool. But again, this is all about those of you who are brand new. Start out as a wholesaler. Start out doing some wholesaling first. Do some microflipping and then move in. Start with a cosmetic fixer upper.
Right.
Don't go into something that has a major structural issue. Because it could get neck deep. It takes a lot of experience to do that. So again, design permits. Here's another story. Quick story, Craig. This particular house has been sitting vacant for a long time. In fact, it's been vacant so long, the electric company came out and pulled the meter off the house. So guess what? In this particular county, to get a meter on the house and get the power to it, once the meter's been pulled, if the house has been vacant for a long period of time, you have to get electrical inspection from the county. So guess what I got to schedule? As soon as we get the new roof on, we get everything cleaned up, go through and check the electrical. Then I got to have an inspector come out and check the electrical before I can get power to the house. So you see what I'm saying about there's a lot you got to consider here. But permits, very, very important because, again, I've got to get an electrical permit. I don't have a choice. Now, I won't pull a lot of other permits because I don't need to. But permits are important. And then, of course, your resale. This is going to be property. It's going to be sold retail through a realtor. It's going to be listed on the MLS. And so you got to pay realtor fees, right? And so just keep that 5-6%, 7%. It's all negotiable. You can decide what to pay your realtor, right? I like to pay them decent. I like to pay around 6%, 3% to the listing agent, 3% to the buyer agent. I like to, pay that. Sometimes I even work a bonus, but nowadays you don't have to do that as much because houses sell so fast.
Right.
But when the market's not quite as hot, I like to maybe throw in a bonus for the full price offer or something like that. Right now, full price offers aren't a problem. Typically, so we'll see. But guys, are you understanding about fix and flip? And I could talk and talk and talk and talk. We actually have what's called a property inspection cheat sheet in the downloads area I showed you earlier in the resource center that will allow you to go in and like a professional, man, you'll be able to understand everything you need to consider on a rehab. As a wholesaler, you want to use this. You'll hear this on another training if you haven't already. We go through that property inspection cheat sheet and allows you as a wholesaler to know the things to look for that need rehab, repair, updating, those kinds of things. You can make a list of those to actually help you in negotiation. We'll talk about that. But that can also help you as a fix and flipper to be able to use that. Really, really important. So, guys, exit strategy for fix and flipping. Now, you say, well, why in the world would I go through all this trouble? Well, because the 5, 10, 15, 20,000 you can make as a wholesaler, micro flipper, guess what? As a fix and flipper.
You
20,
can make
30, 40, 50,
I think
100.
isn't the average like 67,000 right now for
The
a
average
gross profit? Gross profit.
Yep.
Yep.
The average gross profit is about $60,000. That's gross profit. Net profit may be less depending on the situation, but shoot, 30, 40,000, 50,000 kind of net profit. You're talking about making some serious money. And that's why over time you start doing, if you do 2-3 Ds a year, you're making, you could be making literally, 6 figures, strong 6 figures.
Sure.
Yeah. That's what I mean about fix and flip. Craig, let me ask you this. If you could hire a mentor, if you could have a mentor or coach to help you learn how to fix and flip, you've got a chance for somebody to teach you how to make 6 figures, maybe even 7 figures. Let's just start with 6 figures to help you make, to show you what you can do to get into a vehicle that could produce that kind of income. Why would you not invest in it? I'm so glad I did. So just, this is something you have to, and now you know how to do it. So you can go do it over and over and over again.
That's right.
Why wouldn't you do that? It just makes sense.
I made the investment over 10 years ago in someone to teach me how to do all this stuff. I did it.
Yeah.
I needed to know. I've been beating my head against a wall, and I needed someone that could show me the ropes. And so, I mean, what Doug is sharing with us and what we're sharing with you all is that there's different ways to make money. The wholesaling, it's fairly low risk. You gotta go for it. Fixing and flipping, there's a lot of nuance. It can be really challenging. It's like going from driving a simple car to getting in a cockpit of an airplane. There's so many more buttons and wheels, and there's just so much more to it. And so think of a mentor, think of a coach as like a co-pilot, and really helping you as you're learning the ropes of this. We've just scratched the surface, and we haven't even talked about the buy and hold yet. So these are the two probably most popular, Doug: fixing and flipping and wholesaling. And then the way that you can make that mailbox money, that monthly money every month after month, just waiting for those checks to come in, is in the buy and hold side of things. And I love this method. I love this method, Doug. I love how you teach it. So I'm gonna yield to you.
Oh, no, absolutely, Craig. Thanks for transitioning there, because you're right. I mean, this is where you build a portfolio.
Right.
Yeah, you can make chunks of money as a wholesaler, as a micro flipper. You can make nice chunks of money as a fix and flipper. But when you get to buy and hold, now you're talking about, as Craig mentioned, mailbox money. Now you're talking about building a portfolio that creates long-term wealth.
That's right. And it's passive for the most part too.
Oh,
it's passive.
Beautiful.
Comes in every
Especially
month.
if you hire, a management company to run these.
Yeah, for sure. Totally.
You're allowed, that's the kind of the power of what we talk about here with buy and hold. Now, there's a lot of methodology around buy and hold, lots. We're going to talk about what we call the Burr Method, right? Now, Craig and I like to have fun with this. You don't just use this in Alaska, do you, Craig?
No, this is the coolest method out there.
It's cool. It's cool. It's ice cold.
We're real estate geeks, guys. Just deal with it. You got to love it.
Yeah. Thanks for tolerating us. It's just kind of fun. But no, we're talking about the Burr. You see, it's an acronym there for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. Now, this is one method for buy and hold. Okay. There's many different ways you could do this. This was coined not too long ago, a few years back, and really has become kind of an industry standard that a lot of investors use. And the way it works is, obviously you buy the property. Now, again, it goes back to, where do you make your money in real estate? When you buy the property.
That's right.
You don't see the money then, but you make it then. Same thing with buy and hold, because you're buying it. The beauty of having PN is you can buy it at a deep enough discount that it allows you to have more cash flow. Because if you're borrowing money for this buy and hold, your mortgage payment is going to be lower because you're buying the house lower at a lower price. You don't have to finance as much. Same, or if you're paying cash, you're using less of your cash, which allows you to make more money as well, to have a higher return, ROI, return on investment, right? By the way, we have ROI calculators. We got cap rate calculators, capitalization rate. Capitalization rate is a percentage that determines, how much you're making on your money every year, right? And so just some things to consider. We have all that right inside the Fast Formula tool. But again, you buy it, right? Then you're going to do what's called a rehab. We're going to do a rent rehab. It's different from a fix and flip a lot of times. Fix and flip, you want that thing to be gorgeous. You want that thing to be just beautiful. By the way, Craig, I didn't mention this earlier when I was on the fix and flip, but the neighbors love you when you're a fix and flipper. The house that I'm buying, man, or bought, I should say, it's been sitting there vacant for years. I mean, it is an eyesore. It has tarps on the roof. It had overgrown trees that's been cut now. But you get the idea. You're talking about it. They love it because when you're done, it's gorgeous, and they love you for it because now they look across the street or whatever and they go, "Oh wow, beautiful." But that being said, but here you're not necessarily doing that kind of a rehab. You want to pretty it up, but you're doing what we call a rent rehab, which you're making it presentable for a renter to come in and be able to live there comfortably. And you want it to be neat, presentable, and tidy, but it doesn't have to be a full-blown, all-out, high-end fixtures, all that kind of stuff. In most cases, now depending on who you're renting to. Now, if you're doing an Airbnb or or a Verbo or like a short-term rental night type deal, you may be some things in that rehab you have to take into account. You might want to make some cool factor and do some things to it. But if you're looking at a long-term rental, then again, you're doing a rent rehab. You might not use the highest quality in the cabinetry. You might not use the beautiful bamboo wood floors. No, because they scratch. You want to use laminate, or better yet, you might want to use LVP. What is that? Luxury vinyl planks, because they're watertight, they're durable. That's what I'm saying. You've got to consider your rent rehab. But that's, you're going to rehab it, get it ready to rent, and then you're going to rent it out. Now, once you rent it out, hopefully you got some cash flow there. You're making 3, 4, 5, 6, 700, whatever it is a month on that deal, right? Now, because not only are you making money every month beyond what you're getting in terms of mortgage, but you also have some equity there, most likely. You bought a house for 100, you got it you did a rent rehab on it, you rented it out. Well, now, it's worth, 170 and you've got 130 in it. Let's say you've got a $40,000 equity in that house already, and then you still got your cash flow on top of that coming in every month. So you get the idea. You're building wealth. And guess who's paying your mortgage? The tenant. The tenant's paying off the house.
That's right. The tenant
is. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, the house gets paid. Now you've got a house that's worth 200. You don't owe anything. That's right. You get 5 of those, you're a millionaire in the next 10, 15, 20 years. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's how wealth is created. If you got 50 of those, you're mega wealthy. Okay.
Yeah. That's legacy right there. That's exactly. Legacy. That's legacy.
Just understand what you got your hands on.
I hear that a lot when we talk to our mentoring students, and we talk to regular PIN members as well. Hey, why are you doing real estate? So often I hear people say, "Oh, I want to create a legacy. I want to hand these properties down to my family. I want to create this thing for them now." I love that. That to me is inspiring. You get it. You get that this buying and hold strategy can be incredibly lucrative. Just like Doug said, you do this, and next thing you know, you're a millionaire. That's pretty.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing. And I don't know how true this statement is, but I've heard it so much that I tend to believe it. More millionaires are created through real estate than in any other industry.
Yep, that's a true statement. I've heard that said as well. And that's the vehicle I'm talking about. Being able to get in that vehicle and ride is super cool, and being able to know what to do is super important. So again, you're going to rent it, and then you're going to refinance it. Now, depending on sometimes you may have borrowed short-term money to do this. Maybe you've got a 6-month, 12-month, 2-year type loan deal where you just got in it to get it in and get it rehab and get it rented. Now you go back and you refinance it, usually within the first year or two, maybe a little longer, but you refinance it at a 20-year or a 15, 20-year, maybe even 30, but certainly out there where your amortization is much, much better. In other words, your monthly payment goes down, which means your cash flow goes up.
Right.
So now, you're in a position where maybe with the short-term loan, you got to buy the property, maybe you're only making $100, $200 a month on that deal. Well, when you refinance it, your payment goes down, your mortgage payment goes down. Now you're making $400 or $500 a month.
That's right.
Income. I'm talking income. Now you got to take out, there's a lot that goes into it. That's why you need a coach. In fact, we'll talk about that in a second, Craig. I think we need to share that. But because you got to know, things they got to consider. What is the insurance like? You got to have insurance on a rented property, right? You got to have liability and the house itself and homeowners and things you got to consider. They actually have special renters insurance, not renters policy like a renter would get, but I mean like a landlord policy. But anyway, you refinance it, and then guess what you do? You go ahead or you pull your money back out. Maybe you pay cash. Now you refinance and pull your money back out, go invest in another property and repeat the process over and over and over again. So this is buy and hold, guys. This is the third strategy we'll talk about. And again, we could talk about so many more, but we wanted to share the three main ones to help you understand. And many of you, this is kind of the order that this may occur for you. So again, do you manage it yourself or not? That's your call.
Both. You could do it either way.
I don't mind paying 10, 15% to have somebody manage it. So why not? Actually, Craig, I'm too nice. I'm not a good landlord because I'm too nice. People could take advantage of me,
Yeah, I know. You're a big softie.
Well, I am a big softie. I admit it.
Yeah.
But, because I'm compassionate. I care for people.
Well, you're doing this to help people as well, Doug. I know that because we've talked so much about this. That's why you got into this. Yeah, great money, but you really are having an impact. One of the things that Doug said earlier was that the neighbors are going to love you. When you go in and you fix up a neighborhood, they're going to walk by and say, "Oh, I'm so glad you're fixing this place." I've seen that more times than I care. I think that this whole real estate thing, there's so much more to it than just making money. Now, that's the reason. But I'm saying all of the impact on your neighborhood, the impact on your life, your family's life. Grab yourself some buy and holds, do a couple fix and flips. I mean, wherever you are today, if you want to do real estate, I'm telling you, we're showing you that it's 100% possible. You just need to have the right approach. You just need to understand it. And then oftentimes you need the proper guidance. Wouldn't you say, Doug?
Oh, there's 100%. You got to have guidance, especially when you get into more. You want to scale your wholesaling business or microflipping, or you want to get into fix and flip or buy and hold. And again, with these buy and holds, it's a lot of nuances to this. You have to understand. Like for instance, if you want to have somebody to manage it, you got to pick the right management company. They're going to charge you anywhere from 10 to 15% of the rents, maybe a little bit more. To manage that for you. You've got to pick the right company to do that. You got to know about refinance. When do you refinance? Well, typically, if you're going to have a short-term loan to start out with. So you're going to need to refinance it within the first year, maybe 2 years, depending on the first loan. I mean, there's just things you got to consider and you got to understand how to do that and what to do. And a coach can help you do that. So Craig, let's do this. I think we've done a really thorough job in really helping everybody on the call tonight to understand the three major exit strategies. And again, when I say rent here, this could be a long-term rental, short-term rental. It could be, a vacation rental, a lot of different ways you could rent here. But that all being said, these three strategies are the ones you're going to stick to in some variation of these as well. There are other specialty areas, but all these strategies, you talk about acceleration. We do our best job to accelerate your training here. That's why we call it CI acceleration. We want to provide you clarity. Hopefully tonight you have more clarity on these three exit strategies. We want to help you be more confident. Hopefully tonight you're feeling more confident. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And we want to provide you the opportunity for cash flow. And you can see whether it's chunks of cash, whether it's ongoing cash, mailbox money, as Craig says. This is what we're talking about. And the way you do that, you got to understand how to do this. And so one reason that we brought coaching to Connected Investors is because it was a demand for it. Craig, do you remember how often do you hear somebody say, I need a coach, I need a coach? We hear it over and over, don't we?
Yeah, I do hear it a lot. And what's interesting is one of the things that I will challenge you with tonight, because look, we are offering coaching. And what I will tell you is a lot of folks think they need it. They're like, oh, I think I might need some coaching. And what I would say is if you think that you need it, you probably aren't ready for it. And what I mean by that is if you kind of think that you need it, if it seems interesting, then what that tells me is that you're not sure. You're saying, I don't know if it could help me. What we know is that those that have decided that this is something that they know they need, that's the difference. And so what we're encouraging you to do is to sit and kind of see where you are today. Where you are today, however you got where you are today, it's perfect. Give yourself a pat on the back. But in this business of real estate, you kind of have to you got to do things a little bit differently as you're moving forward. One, you got to get out of your comfort zone, right? Because there's a lot of stuff here that you've got to learn. The other thing is that you have to be willing, getting out of your comfort zone, you have to be willing to be coachable and accountable and teachable. And people that know that they need that, they recognize what we have here. We have a system, we have an ecosystem where you literally have every piece of the business. You don't have to go look for buyers. You don't have to go wonder what kind of contract that you're going to use. You don't, what, gee, I don't have anybody in that area. Where would I find somebody? We have literally every single piece of the puzzle. So it's contracts, buyers, all of the, what, 43,000 zip codes or so, Doug. We have all of that. And what we know is those of you that are on the call tonight, if you know that you need some help, you're the kind of person that we can help if you know you need it. If you're a little bit uncertain, that's fine. Go out there, take some swings, see what happens. What I will tell you is those that take decisive action, they'll look to the future and then they'll look back and say, gee, look where I am today. So my challenge for you today is if you would like to take your business to the next level, what does that mean? If you've never done a deal and then you do a deal, that's a whole nother level, my friend. All right. So if you're looking to get your first deal, if you're just stuck and you just quite can't figure it out and you know what you need is some help, we're here. If you already have done some deals, but now you're really looking to kind of repeat it, like, you know, do a couple in a row now, start to scale your business out. This is the perfect place for you. It really is. And if you're someone who is just looking to do a little bit of everything and become a master of all of it, this is a 12-month commitment. I'll say that right up front. It's a 12-month commitment. We're committed to you. And so we say today, what is today? Today is the 26th. I'm encouraging you to imagine what it's going to be like on May 26th of 2023. Are you going to be in the same place that you are today, thinking that you need some help? Or are you going to step out of the comfort zone and go to our website, go to connectedinvestors.com/coaching and fill out that little application? What I will tell you is it's not an interrogation. We just want to know a little bit about you, because what we're then going to do is we're going to reach out to you. We're going to have a conversation. Think of it like an interview, and we're going to make sure that you're a good fit for us, but it's just as importantly, we're a good fit for you, right? So I challenge you, fill out that coaching application. Someone will get back to you. We'll have a real, just straightforward conversation. I'll give you all of the details about how the program works. And I'll save the rest of it for Doug if he wants to share anything. I'll say one last thing. I would love to work with anybody that knows what they want, because I know what I want. People that know what they want. I can help you if you can.
Craig, I love it. And, and I hear people say, sometimes, hey, I'll just learn from my mistakes.
Oh,
And I
goodness.
say, no. Learn from others' mistakes. That way you don't make them. That's why having a coach, a mentor is so important, because you're learning from their mistakes. So you don't make those mistakes. You make a mistake on a wholesale deal, a microflip deal, you could potentially lose 5-10 grand that you would have made as a profit. You make a mistake on a fix and flip deal, you're talking about not only losing the potential to make 30 or 40 or 50,000 as profit, you can go negative, right? You can actually lose your own money. And so that's the power of having a coach, somebody to come alongside you, somebody to hook your wagon to that's done what you want to do, right? It's going to accelerate your business to another level. That's the thing, Craig. And understand, we're talking about coaching where we basically do an orientation with you. We develop an action plan specific to you.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to be in 1 year? Okay, here's what we're going to do to get you there. Here's this week. Here's next week.
That's right.
And it's not go read this book or go watch. No, here's the actual action you need to take to get results. That's what it's all about, is results. That's what everybody wants. That's what this coaching program is designed for. So if you want results, you want to nail this down, you need to go fill out connectedinvestors.com/coaching. It's just a questionnaire. Fill it out. No obligation. You're not signing up that you've got to be approved. We actually have a review committee that approves.
That's right.
It.
Yeah.
So you can't, can't let everybody in, because we can't have 500 coaching students.
That's right.
We're talking about 15 coaches. We're keeping it very small, very intimate, because we want to work with you one-on-one, right? We want to make sure we're helping you get where you want to go. That's the key. So, Craig, hey, I love this. I love it because, Craig and I we're some of the coaches here, right?
That's right.
We get to be the ones to come alongside you and say, take my hand, let's go. And that's kind of the power of that. And so anyway, fill that out, connectedinvestors.com/coaching. and we will look forward to chatting with you. Well, Craig, I tell you, man, this has been really exciting. I've really enjoyed this time tonight. Thank you for, man, you always provide the best color commentary, man. You really know how to nail a point and how to bring it home. And I appreciate that about you. I know for those who are on the call tonight, Craig and I are passionate about real estate. You can tell. We're passionate about helping people. And if you're on this call, at 10 o'clock at night, you're serious about your career.
You are serious.
You're serious about real estate. You're passionate about what you're doing, and just turn that passion into income, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about being able to do what you want to for your family, whatever that is, whatever that goal, whatever that why that you have to do, you can do it. Real estate investing, it works. It's a question. It works. You just see too many results of people having success. Now we got to get it working for you. That's right. What we're all about. If it's already working for you, we want to expand it and grow and scale for you. So, Craig, been a lot of fun, man. Thanks for tonight.
It's always a blast. You are the master. Everybody loves you. We are not worthy to be in your presence, so I truly appreciate.
Get out of here with all that.
We love you. But no, thank you so much for all that you bring. And again, I'm gonna just. What Doug was saying is we really appreciate you all being here tonight. We know that you could be anywhere and you are here. One more favor before you go. We're going to stay on for another minute. What was your biggest takeaway tonight? We read all of these comments. We want to know from your what was the thing tonight that made you go, oh, that's great, or I hadn't considered that, or man, I knew that and I'm glad they confirmed it. Whatever that thing is, pop it down in that chat because we 100% read them. Now, one more thing, special treat. So tonight's the last night of our four sessions that we do. There is a fifth session that we're going to be sharing with you. So keep your eyes peeled. This session, Doug, this one I'm going to pat myself on the back for. You're amazing. But this openings and offerings session that you guys are going to be getting here in the next few days is gold. This script has been perfected. I've personally used it, not hyperbole, about 500,000 times. It's gold. And the reason that it's gold, well, let me tell you, wait for the session to come out, watch it, and you'll understand. This puts you in the front door so that you can ask the most important question, which is, have you ever considered selling? Because if you're not asking that question, how are you going to do deals? So keep your eyes peeled for that session. It's going to be coming out in the next few days. And again, thank you all for being here. Doug, amazing. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Craig. Have a great night, everyone. Look for that special training. You'll get an email. Be on the lookout for it. It is outstanding. It is a powerhouse. So definitely check that out. Again, thanks for being part of Connected Investors, and we'll look forward to seeing you down the road. Have a good one,
Thanks,
everyone.
all. Bye-bye now.